Okay, this is my third try trying to film this, because the first two times something went wrong and I couldn't just pause the camera and correct what was wrong, because this camera doesn't have a pause button, because being able to just shoot one scene, pause, then unpause and shoot the next scene, they have to make it to where you have to stop the camera, then shoot the next scene, and then put everything together on the computer. Because, you know, just being able to pause would just be too easy, and nowadays everything has to be complicated and retarded, and my computer cannot edit video because it's a piece of crap. But anyway, as I'm explaining for the third time, but you guys are just now hearing it for the first time, I'm working on this Philips model HTS 3400 DVD home theater system. It's 5.1 channel. It claims to be 700 watts total power, but judging by the size of the little amplifier chips, I seriously doubt that this thing is 700 watts total power. But to tell you the truth, it does seem to have no problem with those 110 watt vintage Kenwood speakers. But here's the problem that I'm trying to correct. It only puts out bass through the subwoofer output. It does not put out any bass through the speaker outputs. So I'm trying to use some little bass filter to get some bass out of that through the big speakers, because I have no intention on using this subwoofer, because those vintage Kenwood speakers put out way more bass than any subwoofer I've ever hooked up to this thing could ever even dream of producing. And one unfortunate thing, the DVD player was working the last time I used this thing, but now all of a sudden it just doesn't feel like working anymore, so I had to hook up to my 60 disc CD changer. And right now I've got it playing a song that's chopped full of bass, and although it does have a little bit of bass, it's not much. Not going to play too much of that, because that is a copyright song, and YouTube is really retarded about copyright infringement. Now here's the circuit I'm going to try. I got a little low pass filter schematic I got from a Cool Dude Clem video. It's from his video homemade sub update. He was making a homemade subwoofer, homemade amplifier to power the subwoofer, and here's his schematic for the low pass filter. It's supposed to take in two channels, left and right, and produce one subwoofer channel. It consists of two 22k ohm resistors, and forgot to write the value on there, but that's a 1 microfarad capacitor, electrolytic. And this is something I had already built, because I was building a computer system for my computer speaker system for my computer that was going to have a subwoofer, but ended up scrapping that plan because it didn't work out very well. The amplifier I built didn't want to work right, so I'm only going to be using half of the circuit. I'm going to disregard this resistor and just hook up this one. I bring in the power from the amplifier in through here, ground this, and then power for the speaker comes out of there. Going to hook this up now. Another thing I feel the need to comment on is these crappy spring-loaded speaker terminals on this system. I really don't like these. I prefer the twist and locks better. I'm making some preparations here. Let's see, where's the ground? Need to find it's this one right here. Going to just solder this base filter directly to the pins on the top of this little terminal block. Got my soldering iron all heated up and ready to go. Okay, just let's put that there to hold it while I solder it. Alright, I'm going to prepare that pin with solder and just solder this directly onto there. Blow on that. Alright, and let's see here. Here's the wire that goes to this channel. Going to snip, snip, strip, strip, and solder, solder. I have to be very careful because my wrist is hanging right over the power supply circuit that's live with the mains voltage. Kind of miss the old systems that whenever you turn them off they would shut off the mains to the power supply, because you know, nowadays the tree huggers are whining about things that draw phantom energy. Well, things like this, where the thing only, the power button only turns off the main power, but there's still standby power, that draws phantom energy. But good systems like my Curtis Mathis stereo system, which is over there, has a power button that shuts off the mains voltage supply to the power supply, so it doesn't draw any phantom energy. Okay. Now I'm going to I think I'm probably using a little too much solder here. These tiny little IDE ribbon cable wires can be stripped with your fingernails. Yeah, this I've previously made modifications to this system. Whenever I first got it, it had some proprietary speaker jacks, and I didn't have the matching speakers to it, or the special proprietary plugs that plugged into the speaker jacks, so I'd taken this spring-loaded terminal block off of my old Durabrand surround sound system and installed it on this system, and I used an old IDE ribbon cable from an old computer. Alright, that low pass filter is now successfully installed. Let's give it a little try. Move my soldering iron so I don't get burned, and I'll hook up the speaker, and we'll see if this thing's getting any bass. Okay, it's this output right here. it back on. Sorry for all the blurriness, my camera doesn't want to stay in focus. Alright, let me pick a track on this CD. And we'll see how much bass this is getting. Doesn't sound like there's any sound at all. Seems like all that bass filter succeeded in is completely filtering out all sound. But I did hear a tiny sound that sounded like it was coming from the inside of the system itself. Heat sinks didn't get very hot from that. I'm going to turn this back up. Okay. I don't hear anything from this speaker at all. But I do hear sound coming from the inside of the system, and I have no idea where it's coming from. Don't hear it no more. Turn it back up and see if I can hear it again. Nope, I don't hear anything. There's no sound at all. So, this circuit worked for Cool Dude Clem, but it didn't work for me because all it's doing is just filtering all the sound and not letting anything through. Now, review this and see if there's anything I did wrong. Okay, doesn't look like it. It looks like I did everything right. Okay. I can't figure this out. Let's see what kind of stress this put on the chips. That one's warm. That one's warm. That one's hot. Okay, so that's the chip for the front channels, and it burned my finger. God, why do they make things that are this small? That is just ridiculous how small it is. But anyway, this failed, and I'm starting to approach the 15-minute time limit, so see you next time.